Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot, and the news of the day is that Germany's surprise 111 million Bitcoin buyback. Is this the news that we were waiting for, a potential recovery, or are these just a big misinterpretation of what's really going on, and potentially we are still going to see further selling pressure in the market? We're going to look into this because it's becoming a controversial topic to really understand what's next, and of course not just the news, because they all can be fully manipulated, but actually what the technicals are telling us right now. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time that we put out one of these videos. And if you feel like supporting the channel, watch this video until the very end and do not go anywhere without leaving a comment down below. That's really helping the channel to continue growing. Have a look at the description because we have a new partnership with Bybit. We are not just offering up to 30,000 in rewards, but also you can jump quickly into my Discord server, connect your Bybit account in the section Bybit Perks, and then claim the biggest discounts that we have ever offered for Trading Parrot subscriptions, which offer hundreds of different indicators, trading view strategies, signals, orchestrations per selection, and a lot more. You can see all over Twitter this post pretty much copy-pasted everywhere. Germany's surprise 111 million Bitcoin buyback. For example, Investment Answers got so excited that he got in touch with the German MP Joanna Quattard, thanking her for having standing up and potentially having pushback of the selling of Bitcoin from Germany. But here is the controversial part, because JRNI Crypto, it's saying, I don't think they bought. It looks like they just sent the remaining Bitcoin on exchanges that hasn't been sold yet back to their wallet to start selling through OTC service instead, likely due to the negative impact dumping on exchanges has had. He adds, not exactly as bullish as buying back will be, but still good news for us because it relieves selling pressure. I ignore if JRNI has a trustable source of information to understand that this is being sent actually later to an OTC service. I'm guessing that that speculation is a fair point, to be honest. And on the other side, I also ignore how Investment Answers managed to get the information that Joanna had anything to do with reversing this decision. So in my opinion, we are still back to square one. We do not know if they're buying it back or not. And because of that, we need to do what we should have done from the beginning of this video. Ignore the news, look at the charts, which is what we're going to do during this video. The CME gap influencing the price, the CPR is driving every single step of the price, and RSI has been amazing to spot the reversal. So why stopping now looking at those elements? You can see here Kevin Svensson is referring to the MACD also printing bullish divergences. We are going to look later in the video how many divergences we're accumulating at these levels for a potential reversal back to the upside. If you are like me, that you are also a red back holder of Cardano, I still have Cardano from the previous bull market. Holding this crap has been one of the most difficult red backs to get rid of. I already got rid of my Rune, I got rid of loads of other crappy tokens, and I managed to still take profits. But with Cardano, it's been really difficult just because of how poorly it's performing. But there might be some hope just around the corner, because Cardano is preparing for the Chang hard fork set to occur by the end of July. It's worth noting that before its previous hard fork in 2021, ADA surged 130% in just 1 month. If history repeats, I'll be there waiting for any pump to take me just about breaking even, and then start looking at the technicals to get rid of that bag as quick as possible. Let me know in the comments if you also hold that, or if you sold it at a loss previously in the bear market, or if you're actually bullish on Cardano, which might be also the case. You can see that Matthew here is also referring to these boxes that is kind of a pattern that we have seen throughout the bull market. We form a range, we break below the range, and then we reverse, we trap all the shorts, and we continue going higher. So it's fair to be speculating here that we might get precisely the same pattern playing out once again. And for this to confirm, we need to close above 57.5, which is the bottom of that box. That will confirm that we have the same setup. And Reg Capital is referring as well that we are at the same time in that phase of the bull market where we get the final shakeout right before the parabolic move. For example, here in 2016 or in 2020, there is some shakeout there happening. This one was pretty painful compared to the one in 2016. But right now, we seem to be in the same phase. The market is having a second day of green in terms of the altcoins, which is amazing. And I have to give you a third reminder that we closed the CME price on Friday at midnight at 56.7. This means that if we go any higher than 56.7, that price might attract the price to come back down to fill the gap. So if we do something like this, and by Monday we are still there, the price might get attracted here. And if you're wondering, okay, if we close that gap, what happens after? It's impossible to guarantee what's going to happen after, but I strongly believe that 60 is going to be a pretty tough level for the price to beat. I see loads of ask liquidity around there. We will look into the order book in a minute. And if we were confronting that price by Sunday close, it's high likely that the bears are going to step in both to push us back down because it's a strong level to break above it, but also because there's the CME gap. So they are assuming that on Monday, there's going to be that selling pressure coming from the price wanting to fill the gap. And here we have the daily time frame, and we can see that we have this strong level of support that got broken. If we zoom in right here, you're going to see that the price is going to get attracted to 60K to confront that, to retest the breakdown. And there precisely is where I'm expecting the bears to step in to try to push the price down. But so far in the daily, we are seeing a hive buy signal with a target to 61K, which comes right on time to potentially give us that help that we need to break back inside the range to create the short squeeze that could get us into higher prices. But this is a signal that is currently in formation, meaning that by the end of the day, depending on where the price closes, this hive signal might go away. If you never heard about the hive is a signal that accumulates a number of divergences. If it reaches certain threshold in the count, then it prints the signal. But divergences can appear and disappear in a moving candle. That's why we need to wait until we close Sunday. On the daily RSI, we have our pivot form, and here we can see a perfect bullish divergence. Unfortunately, this reversal to the upside here is not as high as this one when we went to 64. Therefore, we haven't yet fully produced a bullish structure formed by higher highs and higher lows. We have a higher low, but we don't have a higher high. We need this RSI to break above 44. And 44 in the price is currently located at 60.7. So there you go. There's no surprises. We need to break above 60. We need to regain the previous support. That is the task that Bitcoin needs to do. We have lots of things in favor, lots of divergences. We are right inside the cross-fee ratio on the daily. That happens 3 times this bull market so far, and the previous 2 times were massive pumps coming right after that. So on the table, we have pretty strong things from the technical telling us that continuation is a possibility, but on the other side, we have all this noise and news coming from empty gogs, miners capitulating, Germany possibly buying back, selling next week. No one knows. So we need to stick to the technicals. And I don't want to confuse you. The daily is giving us good indications for continuation, but on the weekly, we have lost the momentum. More of that in just a minute. And we keep accumulating on the daily more and more of the strongest buy signals. Now we have a percentile here signal, which is coming from the cross of the cross-fee ratio above my percentile line that has been pushing higher and higher. We have 2 deltas here, meaning that the shorts were getting too cocky, and at those times, pretty much always we go higher. We have percentiles, we have underperformance from the socials, we keep stacking those signals, and I have a strong feeling that we might get that big relief. Whether we can do an all-time high, that's a different story because we have the weekly against us. So do not get confused with my narrative. Things pile up in one time frame. That time frame can give us some relief within the range that time frame can do, but on the other hand, we have a higher time frame pushing us down. So we cannot get too cocky and think that we are just going to go straight into 100K. We have to see, we have to confirm one thing at the time. Good news is that we close this green candle and we have those 5 bullish divergences. We have RSI, Stochastic Ultimate Oscillator, Fisher Transform, T-Score, 5. The last time here that we have 5, we made a push all the way to almost 64K, which wasn't enough to reverse the trend but gave us some relief. So we could speculate that this can take us to 60, to 61. That will be a conservative target. I will expect the shorts to step in to try to push us back down into the CME gap. But who knows, we might get lucky and we might get once again to 64. No news on the miners. To complete their capitulation, the hash ribbons is still wide open and we are both below the short-term holder realized price, and we are also kind of given the kiss of the death to both the 200 daily moving average and the 200 EMA. The kiss of death means that you broke below it and you come back for a retest for further continuation to the downside. This is quite scary to be there. There is a chance that we can go above it and that will turn it into very bullish. The 200 moving average is at 58.7, which is precisely where we are getting rejected. So I have to say, pretty scary to be right there with the CME gap formed during the weekend. I'm still long on Bitcoin, but very keen to buy at lower levels. I have dry powder to buy at 51, as I mentioned in other videos, 48 and 43. I'm not telling you that those prices are coming, but since we have lost momentum on the weekly, the daily is doing everything that's possible to push higher. I'm prepared for both outcomes. I'm not gonna play this as 100% certainty swing trade that I know that we're going higher, but I'm gonna continue building that position for the remaining bit of the bull market. And yes, as you can see, the weekly is still below here. We are halfway through to the target of 36, which corresponds with 48K. And in order to undo all the damage that is being done with this candle, we need to close on Sunday above 65.5. That will make happy the weekly RSI because this will look just like this area around here, like we retested support slightly below it, but we regain it. If we close how we are like this, it's just looking like we lost the weekly. And then the daily is gonna give us some relief, but then further downside will come from the weekly. In my opinion, higher timeframes tend to have a stronger impact on lower timeframes. And as I mentioned yesterday, we have a massive spike deposits into exchanges from big whales. And my speculation is that since that happened from this candle right here at 57K, I believe that that selling pressure hasn't been executed. They haven't sold yet. This spike that you have here, I'm speculating that caused this selling pressure from 72 to 53. And now these new deposits could potentially turn into them holding the trigger until we get to some high levels to then dump once again on us. Nothing guaranteed, not financial advice, just my naive speculation. Not much has changed in terms of the liquidity coming from the fair value gaps. I encourage you to watch my video from yesterday where I went deeper in detail in my thesis about how we could consume this liquidity, in what order. The same goes with the liquidity here and the liquidity from FAR charts. So let's focus on the live order book. From Trading Light, you can see that at 60K we have massive selling pressure. So my speculation was correct. I think it's gonna be really tough to break above 60K. And at the 200 daily moving average, there are also some short sellers at 58.3, 58.1. There is some support 57, but really a lot of vacuum all the way to 54 once again. And I think that if we come back to these levels, this 370 is going to have a tough time holding. This doesn't mean that it won't hold, because by the time the price comes there, the order book might get pretty crowded here. We never know what's going to happen in the future. But the stronger support is being formed at 51 to 52. So once again, do not discard that we could put a new low. That is not out of the question. Neither is guaranteed. Another reminder that Total Free is right there at support from the full bull market. So it's pretty interesting to see that this structure in the weekly got lost for Bitcoin. You can see it right here. We lost it. And that happened not just this week, but 1 week ago, when we printed this small gap right there. And the alts made a high of 89 and they haven't lost the support. And that is thanks to these levels here that has been always selling out pretty low. This allows this to go very low to 44 right now and still be within the range of the bull market. So people say alts have been underperforming, but they are just from a different class of assets, a lot more volatility. Hopefully, we're gonna see that this holds and starts a new uptrend anywhere from around here. If we also see that the alts are breaking below that, that is going to turn into extreme pain for altcoin holders. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Once again, hit the like and write down a comment down below. That's really helping the channel. Let me know if there's any altcoin that you would like me to do TA on the next video. See you on the next one. Bye bye.